decision because it's experiencing it. And there's that scene in The Matrix where Neo is basically saying, "Oh no, don't tell me this is going to happen because I would not have chosen it." And what the Oracle says is basically, you didn't come here to make the choice. You've already made the choice. What you have to now do is understand it, because that which is experiencing this level did not make the decision to come from the level of perception that it's now experiencing in this reality. The decision to come into this reality at this time was made by higher levels of consciousness who can see the whole river from source to sea, and not like the conscious mind that can only see the next turn on the river. See, we're traveling down the river symbolically, and we're trying to work the journey out, but we can't see until, beyond the next turn in the river. If we open to consciousness, our consciousness, higher levels of consciousness beyond the body, then it can see the journey from source to sea, and it can guide us through it in a way that the conscious mind simply can't do, which is very, very important at this time, that we open to intuitive knowing and let that guide us instead of trying to work it out with the conscious mind and the intellect, which is a very low level of awareness and will not be able to give us the most effective choices and decisions compared with consciousness that is beyond this world looking in. It's very important that we open the heart and open the mind and go with our feelings, with our intuition, and not let, mind dictate and intellect dictate everything. Otherwise, we're going to lose the plot.
The great antidote for fear is love, huh?
Yeah, fear is not there by accident. It's there by design, because it's a very low vibrational state, a very dense state. And the control system wants to hold us in a dense state, because then we detach from higher levels of consciousness. You see, when people say, I understand it, they say, well, when's the cavalry coming to help us? Well, the cavalry's here. It's sharing the same space that we are in, but it's on a different vibrational resonance. And if the cavalry came into this reality, it wouldn't be the cavalry anymore. It would be caught in fear and all the rest of it. So it's up to us to open our minds and connect with that, not it to come down into density of fear and frustration and anger and conflict and all the rest of it, and guilt and all these low vibrational emotions. Otherwise, it's no longer the cavalry. It's no longer the guidance. And this is why it's important that we work on ourselves and clear out these layers of low vibrational emotional suppression. And for me, Patrick, I can only talk about me. The biggest way that it can be done, I think the most effective way that it can be done, and it's very simple, because all genius is simple. If it's complex, there's something missing. They want to make us think everything is complex, because then we'll never see the simple, profound truth behind it. It's about self-identity. It's about moving self-identity while we're experiencing in this reality. If we self-identify as being David Icke, Joe Bloggs, Charlie Smith, Ethel Jones, that is who we are. When I look in the mirror, the reflection is me. Then I am going to have a perception of me, which is about limitation. It's about I can't. It's about little me. I'm just Joe Public. And you see everything in limited terms. And the point from which you observe self in the world is from that limited perspective. When you shift that sense of identity, and not just in words, you shift it within deeply. I am not David Icke. David Icke is my experience. It's the experience of my infinite awareness at this moment in this reality. What I am is infinite consciousness, infinite awareness, having that experience. What the control system wants to do is to get us to identify with the experience, because then that pulls us into density and it pulls us into limitation. And once you start observing the world through the lens of the body-mind, knowing that's what you're doing rather than being the body-mind alone, then everything shifts. There's a massive energetic shift for a start. The density that holds us in low vibrational states shifts, and suddenly everything starts to move. And as we vibrate our energy field, which is a resonant expression of our state of mental, emotional being, it locks in to like energy fields, which we call people, places, ways of life, experiences, locations, jobs, which then we draw to us, and that creates our so-called physical experience, our daily life. When you go through this shift from I'm not David Icke, it's my experience, I'm infinite consciousness having that experience, then this shift in awareness, this shift in perspective and point of observation massively shifts your vibrational state. And as you do so, the old energy field is no longer drawing towards you the same people, places, ways of life, locations, jobs, experiences it was before, because you're no longer in the state that was creating that.
Yes.
And we experience that in the play-out holographic world as our lives falling apart. But what we think, oh my goodness me, I could tell you stories for days about what happened when I had that experience right in the middle of the public eye 20 years ago. It was no fun. But and you look at that and you think, my life's falling apart, what's happening? But then you say, well, hold on, you wanted to change your life, right? Yeah. Well, if you want to change your life, the old life's got to go, or it's going to stop the new life manifesting. And so if we understand this, that we go through this vibrational shift, therefore we go through this shift of what we attract, there has to be a time when that which we've been attracting, what we might call the old life, falls apart and drifts away, and people go out of your life, and you might lose your job, things might happen in your life that you don't like, but what they do is create movement, they create a change, and then the new life starts to come in, new people, new locations, new understandings, and all this stuff. And we're going through a collective version of that as well as an individual version of that.
Excellent.
But in the end, Patrick, as I think the Chinese have a saying, when everything is known and everything is understood, all that will be left is for everyone to have a good laugh. Because I have this feeling, Patrick, I've had this feeling for so long now, that when we do absolutely get to the rabbit hole, and we will, that's what this period's about, and find out exactly what this reality is and what we've been experiencing, I think we're going to laugh for weeks. I think we are, because we're going to look at what we thought it was, we're going to then realize what it really is, and it's going to be hysterical. And it's important that we hold that thought and don't get caught in this dense experience. It's just an experience. It's a holographic illusion. Yeah. And illusions only control you when you think they're real, and that's what the control system wants us to do, to think that this illusion is real. Once we realize it's an illusion, you can control the illusion.
And, they want to make us react to them, right? To make us react to them. Exactly. Can you stay a few more minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to get some more emails, and we'll try to catch a couple calls. A few of you have tried, but some reason these. And a wise man once said, David, this goes great with your book title, that sometimes it's necessary to face the lion because there's really no reason to run from it.
Well, what I do, Patrick, in terms of the lion, is I'm symbolizing the real human being. In fact, I'm using the lion, and there's some absolutely brilliant original color illustrations in the book by a great artist friend of mine called Neil Haig.
So you're using the lion as the human being.
Yeah, I'm symbolizing the lion and in the pictures and the text in two ways. First of all, I'm symbolizing the lion as the truth vibrations, and also as the real human being, as opposed to the suppressed human being of the previous epoch. And there's a wonderful poem by a British poet called Shelley, who wrote it after a massacre of people at a place called Peterloo in the north of England, and it finishes off like this: "Rise like lions after slumber, in unvanquishable number. Shake your chains to earth like dew, which in sleep had fallen on you. Ye are many, they are few." And this is what we need to understand, I would suggest, is that the number of people controlling this world is tiny, almost infinitesimal, compared with the global population. We can only be controlled by acquiescing to the few, and, crucially, by the target population policing the target population. And that's what so many people do, of course. And it's time for us to come together in mutual benefit, if you like, and put aside the irrelevant but manufactured and encouraged fault lines of